Dead or alive, you're coming with us. Hello, Tom.
Hello, who is this?
Yes, welcome back, stranger, to an episode of Two Guys Who Hardly Talk About Toys Anymore. And it's said.
I think that we still do talk about toys a fair amount. We just don't do it in a show format as much as we used to.
Right.
All our toy talking is through text, which we would like to change and get that back onto like a somewhat regular schedule. But life happens. It's been happening for you. It's been happening for me. So we do apologize to our loyal listeners and watchers, because nothing's kind of worse than an inconsistent schedule. But also, right. I'm sure most of them understand that life happens and interruptions happen or whatever.
Right. But I think we'll be able to get more on schedule in the next several weeks. So we'll
100%. I think things have kind of leveled out for me. I think things have lowered out a little bit more for you. And
the other sad thing is, we saw, Superman came out, Fantastic Four came out, Jurassic crap came out, Toxic Avenger comes out this weekend. And
I saw that last night at a late night showing. You will enjoy it.
So did my brother, but I'm waiting to hear reviews. I don't want to hear too much detail, but I do want to go see it.
It's a fun time. You'll enjoy it. It's not the original, but it's a lot of fun.
Right. I can't wait to see it. Speaking of things I can't wait to see, Tom, did you get any new toys this week or in the last 2 weeks?
Boy, howdy, have I got a whole lot of stuff. So, all right, so I want to lead off because I've been super excited about this more so than most things, because as everyone knows, I am a sucker for crossovers. You cross things over, like toy companies. And based on what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con,
we need to do a crossover episode.
Oh, 100%. That's next.
Boom.
That's coming next. No surprises next week.
Yeah.
Crossover is the topic. And this is based on San Diego Comic-Con happened while we were unable to produce episodes, and based on a lot of things that were shown there, companies are getting the memo that if they want Tom's money, you only need to do one of three things. You make a glow-in-the-dark figure, you make a figure that is clear or opaque in some way, shape, or form, or you make yourself some crossover figures, and I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy them because it's awesome. It's amazing. I haven't shut up about the Ninja Turtles He-Man crossover since it happened. I've done fan art of the figure of my own ideas for characters, because although I love the line, I still think they could have delved a little bit deeper into the pool of characters. I think the line was running for maybe a little over 2 years.
Yeah,
plenty of time. But we had a lot of like Ninja Turtle He-Man re-releases, but that's the tax you pay in any toy line. But the crossovers with that, I loved, and I'm so sad that it's gone. And I really wish there was running alongside the new He-Man Thundercats.
Man,
crossovers.
Your ritual background, you got vanishing figures again.
It's really
again another example of how the longer we do this, the lower our production value gets.
The lower it gets. Yeah, I still things with the apartment have settled, but I'm still it's all just blank back here. So the virtual background's gonna have to stay. So unless you just want to see me against a white wall, which maybe right. Some people would prefer that. Well, maybe we'll try that next week.
It was like when I was whenever I'm in a hotel and we do it, I just leave the wall blank. It's fine. As long as we can see your smiling face, Tom, we'll be happy.
Depending on how close I am to the camera, we'll see how that plays out. But this crossover, the Thundercats crossover, is also really awesome. I've been super excited for this as well, and I guess it's not, I don't know, with the Ninja Turtles He-Man crossover, my expectation was fuse everybody.
Man, make sure you're saving something for next week, Tom.
Look, I've got, in the time that we have in the time off that we have had, the amount of things that I have gotten from San Diego and Big Bad, I'm not wanting for new stuff to show up. But this line is awesome. It's super cool. I love that. It's almost just, if you were just looking for an excuse for a Thundercats line, like this is just Mattel's excuse to do a Thundercats line. There's not, the characters are not fused this time. It's just Thundercats wearing Eternian armor. It's dress up time for the Thundercats because I love that you have the option of putting them in this armor, which is, it's okay, it's not bad. But everyone just wants that classic Thundercats look, which you can achieve with these figures. Like Lion-O doesn't have to be wearing, although it is kind of cool because his armor seems to be based off of Eternia itself. So he's got like the cat shoulder armor and whatnot, which is very cool. It's very Eternian looking, but if you just want classic Lion-O, you just want classic Chitara, you can do that. And I love that they included Battle Anthro Battle Cat from the He-Man Ninja Turtles, not Ninja Turtles, the He-Man Thundercats crossover from the DC comics, because there is a comic that this is, I don't know if the toy line itself is specifically based on it, but the crossover comic is really cool. So there's already a wave 2, which is on the way to me, because Entertainment Earth got them in a little bit earlier than other retailers. So Panthro, Tigra, and He-Man, which I think it's funny that He-Man is in wave 2 of his own line.
Right. Well, they couldn't get both heroes at once. Like they did the Mumra Skeletor in one thing. So you got Lion-O first, and then you'll get He-Man. They couldn't do both heroes in the first line.
They sure did. Gave us a Skelra. And from what I'm seeing, what I plan to do, because
what we aren't seeing.
Oh man, that is rough. But he's awesome. He's on a larger buck. It looks like I had heard on reviews that people had gotten these a little bit earlier than retail. There was some question on like the way that the sculpting looked, and the thought was that these may be pre-tools for Mattel's 2000X line, because I think they're going to start leaning into that.
Man, you're doing all next week's episode.
No, there's so much more to talk about. But this is going to be awesome, and I'm going to take. I think I'm going to take once I really like the way the Skelra looks, but if I want to separate them, I can always put Skeletor's head on like Slash's body, right? And that'll also look really cool. But that's what I've. You know what? So I'm going to extend this just a little bit longer because Target, Big Daddy Target came through this week with Studio Series Megatron, which a lot of people were looking forward to. He is, of course, it's probably difficult to see because he's, man,
it's impossible.
Just terrible. He is. I'm going to have to go with the trust me, bro, on this. He is floating in this box. There's like you can see him in the box, and then there's like a third of it that's just empty real estate for no good reason. And I always wonder about stuff like this. Is this just a cheap attempt to abuse the leader size price for what is not a true leader size figure, or is that just the money that they had to put into it, and this was based on how much space they needed to take up on the shelf because they're paying for it? So I like we've seen this before with Transformers, where there are figures that are just hovering in a 2-bedroom apartment, and there's no reason for it.
Well, coming from someone who in a former life had to deal with packaging of products and designing packaging and labels and stuff, sometimes it's cheaper just to get one size box than to have multiple size boxes. So that
must be the case because I also found they re-released the Studio Series Grimlock, so. Keep an eye out for him as well. But he's in the same size box as Megatron, larger figure, same price point.
Yeah, and it's definitely they just didn't want to have multiple size boxes in their warehouse.
It's kind of funny that they did this re-release of Studio Series Grimlock, which everyone is very happy about, and I applaud them for doing it. But also in a wave right before this, Generation 2 Grimlock was released, who is blue.
Yeah.
So on the shelving now, you have your pick. You can get regular original flavor Grimlock, or you can get the new Cool Ranch blue version of Grimlock. Not bad. Not a bad time to be hanging out in.
Colored, yeah.
Yeah. So what have you gotten?
You know what I've been fidgeting with every time I sit at this desk was when I was up there and we went to Retro Relics, shameless plug, and I bought the little toddler Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
I love this little guy. He's so cute. And he sits here on my desk.
He's just like, what line? Little... What toy line is that from?
I forgot what they're called. Like rope.
It's not a Labubu.
No,
it's not a mini mate.
No, I forgot the name of it. It'll come to me. But I love he looks like a little toddler Swamp Thing.
You know, when you first held him up, I know, like looking at him now, I know that the expression on his face is a little smile on the bottom, but the nose looks almost like a beak. So it almost looks like he has this super upturned frown. He's very upset because people won't stay out of his swamp, and he keeps warning them, and they keep showing up anyway. And he's like, Arcane, how many times do I have to rip the arms off of your minions so that you learn to stay out of my swamp? I don't want to do this, man.
And the other thing I wanted to show was I got Battle Cat Man as well. So we'll show him where he doesn't disappear.
He looks so good.
This figure can go with so many lines and look good.
He really can.
And you put him with I would imagine if you stood him with the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
He'd be a little stumpy guy. He'd be like he'd be the scrappy little guy that they keep around, but he absolutely fits. He fits right in. I love it. It looks so good.
Yeah, and his face sculpt's pretty good.
The face sculpt is better than I thought it was going to look. It's one of the I think the few times that the artwork it didn't have me all that excited, but the way that the sculpt turned out, very nice.
And you know what else I found on sale at Big Bad Toy Stores was Cyberfrog.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I love how froggy he is. Look at those feet.
I kept seeing those, and I vaguely remember them from like they're very 90s. It's a very 90s looking franchise.
They're very 90s, very like Lee Field-esque.
Yes,
especially with these things up here. Very, very Lee Field.
Kind of the extreme, the kind of the sharp detailing on the face. That looks really cool.
It does. He looks very good.
How does he look with the Battletoads? Because they look like they'd be similar in scale.
That's who I put him with, the Battletoads and that toad soldier, the frog soldier I got from Bucky O'Hare.
Yes. Oh, you know, I've now added those to my eBay search because you got me when you showed that toad off. I hadn't really thought about them all that much, but now I kind of want a few.
And he comes with multiple heads. He comes with a gun hand that you could put on there.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Came with a stand. I love when figures come with stands. And he came with multiple heads. He has the kind of normal head, right? And then he's got the kind of mean, grimacy.
Extra angry frog.
And then this one is pretty gruesome. It's got some blood spatter and some sort of spike through his head.
Oh, weird. I'm not familiar with this in the comic.
Yeah, right there's a spike in his head.
That is impressively graphic.
Yes, it indeed is.
So it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if this is one of those comics that's more like Savage Dragon or
the Massive. It would make sense. Like I could see a Savage Dragon crossover there. We could talk about that next week. But seeing how cool this figure is, which is much cooler than I had anticipated. When I saw them for full price, I was like, I don't know, they're cool, but they can't be as cool as they look. And then when I saw them on clearance on Big Bad Toy Store, shameless plug, I ordered it, and he's like, "Why? Insane!
Why would you do this to a frog?"
He's like, "Oh, piggy." This got me thinking about all the cool characters and toys that are cybernetic or cyborg, and I thought we should chat a little bit about characters that have cyborg or cybernetic existence. And of course, we have to start with Cyborg from DC Comics, right?
Right off the bat, right from the start. You can't get any more cyborg than the man himself, Cyborg, who I never owned any figures of.
It's hard to find good ones. It's hard to find good ones. The McFarlane animated one is good.
He was in the Superpowers line, wasn't he? Like the original?
Yes. Yeah, and that's a tough one to come by.
I have heard that he's really hard to come by, and the chrome is like the main factor, whether or not you have one and its chrome is still intact.
Yeah, with the chrome intact and out of the package, he goes for 150, 200 bucks. Just out of the package with the chipped up chrome, still going to cost you around $100. And then in the package, forget about it. The thing with Cyborg that makes him difficult is simplicity is better for him, because when he was originally drawn, he had just the silver plate and the eye thing, but he wasn't all like robot-y, right? He was just kind of had the silver on him. And then as time went on, the artist made the drawings more detailed, and then the figures followed suit. And sometimes McFarlane is guilty of going too much into the detail of his figures.
We all saw his monstrosity of a Cyber 6 line, and we all saw some of the manga figures that didn't quite work out. There were plenty that did, which I guess is kind of
I don't know. Plenty is a strong word. There were a couple. that did.
For the most part, his mecha stuff leaves a lot to be desired. I'm spoiled by how much I thoroughly enjoyed the manga Overkill. Because that figure was maybe one of my favorite figures that he's ever made from like his 90s, early 2000s run.
Yeah, he showed some restraint on that, but some of the Cyborg stuff is just too much and dark gray, like gunmetal gray, almost reflexive of the movie Cyborg that had so much going on. And then once people went with the storyline where he was connected to the motherboard, everything got more apocalyptic looking, and that's why I like the Teen Titans one he did. It's so simple and clean.
It is.
Has that
it's a really nice, well done,
it's perfect, like chef's kiss. Perfect.
Decent size. If only he had made anybody else. He just made anyone else in the animated.
At least give me Beast Boy. At least give me Beast Boy.
Now you have that duo hanging out on your desk. Maybe they're off on having their own adventures, and you don't really need the rest of the team. But it would be nice if he had. I wonder. I always wonder what caused that decision, because it's not. I mean, we've talked about this before. McFarlane is an interesting entity in that he's not beholden to the charts and the spreadsheets and the board of soulless executives whose job it is to make toys, but they don't actually want to make toys. He gets to just kind of do whatever because
I think that works against him. I think that works against him because his little ADD kicks in, and he's jumps.
Yeah, he's kind of all over the place. He'll try a bunch of things. I don't
actually know that he has ADD. Let's just say that,
allegedly. We're possibly alleging that that's a thing that's happening. But I wonder if sales were even a part of that, or if he was just like, okay, well, we did that, and now I want to do something else because that's a new shiny thing, which he does. He does tend to do. The reasons for it, who knows? But like he jumps around, and I sure wish his attention would fall once to Jurassic League, but that's a whole other thing. They're not.
That's a whole other thing.
I want dinosaurs as the Justice League people. Get on it, McFarlane. What are we waiting for?
DC directed a good job.
A lot.
Yeah, DC directed a pretty good job with the Cyborg. They sort of kept him with that Super Friends look. I mean, he should, he was a little leaner because as time has gone on, he's gotten bigger and bigger. Yeah. But when he's a little lean, and I like that kind of that Cyborg. But there are every line, like we've discussed, like every line, it's sort of formulaic, right? You have your hero, and then you have like some sort of anthro character, and then you've got like the robot guy, like there's always that. Usually the bad guys do, but sometimes the good guys, right?
So it's kind of a cool way to it. It's usually like a season 2 style thing where they want to bump up the stakes. Because you start off with your 80s team, and you've got all your standard. You check off the boxes. You're like, do I have this character,
the girl, the leader, and the strong guy.
And then. Yeah, with the bad guys, you've got their counterparts, and in season 2, you'll go a little bit further, and new baddies will show up, and it usually involves some cyborg version. Yeah, you can go with, I don't know, like Cyborg Superman. Now I'm sorry, we'll bring it back to Metallo. Does Metallo count as a cyborg? Because I don't know.
He doesn't have a lot of humanity in him. Like he's not part human. So yeah,
is his human brain still in there, or is he full on robot now?
I think it depends upon the writing in the story. Sometimes he's still got the human brain, but then when he shuts down, when Superman beats him in whatever way, usually it's him being crunched, like he gets the kryptonite out of his chest, and then he gets crushed in a car thing, or he's thrown into the ocean or whatever. That human brain would be deprived of oxygen and other things. So I think he's more robot because he's powered by the kryptonite. So
when you get into those characters,
which we already know that kryptonite causes cancer in human biology. So
if you're just a brain being exposed to that, you got to think that at some point it's just gone. Like he's just rotted away to nothingness. But I always wonder about that kind of thing when you show a character that because you've got almost like two extremes where you get like the Metallo where it's just maybe it's a brain in a casing, and then you get a character that that's mostly human but maybe has cybernetic parts. Like Bionic Man,
right? Or the Bionic 6. I was immediately thinking about the Bionic 6.
Yes, where they were mostly humans, and they had like one part, like their arm, that had the bionic part, or like a mechanical bit that was replaced. Those I guess technically they both count as cyborgs. Maybe we should.
Did you have the Bionic Man, the 12-inch when you were a kid? Did you have the Bionic Man?
I'd seen it. I wasn't even back then.
Or a $6 million man, either one, same concept.
That's right. Oh, that's right. It was this. I'm sorry. It was the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman. Right. And then they had the crossover special with the Bionic Kid, which I thought was hilarious because I didn't understand, especially like at my age while I was watching it. I was like, did they have a child and the child had bionics? Because that's very strange. I didn't fully understand all the subtleties of the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman. But I did not have the toy. I remember seeing him.
He was all over the place. Now he's flea market fodder, usually in very poor condition, but you can still find him.
Now, did you own any of the Bionic 6?
Yes, I have them all currently. I love the Bionic 6. Just the whole storyline is very Fantastic Four-esque.
Yeah.
And the bad guys were cool. The figures were cool. That the glove, the character glove, and mechanic was one of my favorite, especially because they were 4 inches. So, and they were die-cast metal. So the mechanic, who is the big guy, like he's the muscle, is so heavy and so big. Like he dwarfed even Road Pig when you used him with the G.I. Joe because they were the same size. But he was so heavy because he's die-cast metal. When he put a thump on somebody, down, done, over, fight's over. So, and he was so heavy, like it was hard to, like, even Snake Eyes, you'd throw the kick or whatever, and there was no way that you're going to knock Mechanic over. So I kind of
get had that real final boss energy to him.
Yeah, kind of like you, Tom.
I try. I don't hit the gym as much as The Rock. the true final boss, for better or worse.
But when I was talking earlier about, like, you always have the Anthro guy and then the mechanic, like even in lines like Masters of the Universe, you had all, you had Merman and so on, but then you had Trapjaw and Roboto, of course, but Roboto was a true robot, whereas
he just wanted to be a real boy. I liked
these Masters of Pinocchio.
I actually kind of like the a lot of things from the 80s wound up becoming popular in the 90s and then in the 2000s, and having their backgrounds a little bit built up on, because we didn't know why anyone in Masters of the Universe really looked or did the things they do unless they got a special episode in the cartoon, which was not very often. So Trapjaw never got a special episode or anything, even in the 2000X series.
But I gotta tell you, that
2000 background.
No, but that 2000X Trapjaw figure is my favorite of all of them.
Yes.
Even the new Masterverse stuff, that Trapjaw figure is my favorite.
He's so well done. The action. I wish that the Horseman hadn't been. The time that it came out, there was no way around it. But I wish that they hadn't been kind of handcuffed by the requirement of action features in those toys, because the sculpts were so that was such an interesting time, because that was when we were starting to see a little bit of a shift in both the collector market versus the kid market versus the skill level of the people involved in toy production, because the level of detailing on those figures, and Trapjaw, like top notch, so good. The mechanical look on the, because that was like, it pushed the envelope, but it didn't go over the edge, and it makes sense that the Four Horsemen also worked for McFarlane. Like even though they worked for McFarlane, they brought their know-how to their own studio. They kind of knew when to scale it back or to bring it back enough where you weren't overwhelmed by the detailing. It was really interesting to look at. Trapjaw is that whole line when they got into even with the mech suits and whatnot. Yeah, he was so cool to look at. And we actually got a little bit of backstory for him with the comics that accompanied them by. I don't remember the name of the company that produced them, but they went into some of the backgrounds of the bad guys called Icons of Evil, and you find out that Trapjaw originally hated Skeletor, and they had a big fight, and Skeletor blasted his face, and that's why his face is green, and then he punched off his jaw, which is awesome.
I like the story that made Skeletor like a bad dude, because in the cartoon, just like Cobra Commander, right? He was a sniveling little jerk, but they always kept Cobra Commander as a sniveling little jerk. Cobra Commander's never going to punch somebody's jaw off, but I'm glad they made Skeletor formidable and not this snivelly, guy on a throne.
The 2000 series really, really did some great rehab on him, or brought him back to be as cool as he should be. And there's still lighthearted moments with him, but he was still super cool. Did you own Rio Blast?
No, I did not.
Another cyborg cat. I wasn't interested, honestly. I bought the Mattel Creations did an Origins updated version of him, which I did purchase, and then just wasn't impressed with, so I wound up getting rid of him. Yeah, he's in the Classics line. Yeah. But I mean, I like the idea. The idea makes sense. But I think it maybe came so late in the toy line. The idea of the wandering cowboy. I do like the idea of just cybernetic guns just popping out all over on this guy. But I think maybe he was a victim of time passing him by.
Right. Absolutely. Also in the Masters universe, I think we have to include Mechanic.
Oh, 100%. Mechanic there's so much. He's such a silly character, but I've always been fascinated by him just because,
how does it work?
Happened?
The original toy was so sad. He's Mechanic, and he's
to him.
How long's the line now, Mechanic? Whoop. Oh, we're almost there.
Let me take a look. They again. Kudos to the 2000X series, where they actually had an episode dedicated to Mechanic being sad that he was lame. Yeah. and them being like, no, man, you're really cool. He wasn't, but that was what the episode would have you believe. But
pandering. Totally pandering.
And I like that they pushed the telescoping of the neck. It went from in the original cartoon, he could just look up a little bit, and then later it became he could do angles with it.
He could turn he was like a pipe cleaner.
Yeah, if anything, you could have flipped this. He could have been on Skeletor's side and been called Spearhead or something super dangerous, because his power would be terrifying.
Turtleneck.
Yeah, the idea was he buckled it down and then launched his head forwards. I mean, still attached by the neck, and he was just like a javelin, just an armor-piercing javelin.
That would be horrible for him. Yeah.
Horrifying. But you make him a psychopath where he's like, I like to destroy my enemies from the outside in.
He would probably have a giant boxing glove on his head.
Oh, for the 80s, 100%. And then later on in the 90s, it would just be a giant spiked mohawk or something crazy. Right. Give me evil Mechanic. But I always wondered with him, what are the inner workings on him? Where
does it go? Where is
What a great character. I take it back. He's silly. He's ridiculous, but I love him anyway.
So here's another Masters of the Universe character I have to ask. Is Manny Faces a cyborg?
That's a very good question. I never fully understood how Manny Faces worked. I always liked the character. I was
right,
like,
because he does have the one robot face, but
yes,
this thing is horrifying. Like, if you think about the idea, now, is he supposed to have faces on each side of the skull, or is there some sort of master of disguise thing happening?
I want to say there's a master of disguise thing happening, only because the most recent Masterverse version of him gives him this. It's such a cool little like he's got luggage. He's got a little luggage carry-on piece.
Right, like Zartan came with the original Zartan with the backpack and the face in it.
Yeah, and it has multiple faces, some of which weren't included with the original. I think they may have been based on concept art, which is phenomenal. But I could never tell if there was maybe a bit of like magic involved in that.
Right.
Because
it did spin in the cartoon, like it did. It was like a pull slot machine.
Yes, and I know that there were episodes where I think he almost seemed stuck, or maybe I had like maybe a slight mental issue where he would get stuck in a personality because the mind for the monster one was terrorizing a town.
Yeah.
And he didn't want it that way. I always wondered what happened if something went wrong, if he got damaged or was having a horrible day and he got stuck halfway through. So you're halfway between monster and robot. Right. What happens then? Does he need to seek help? He'd be
a very analytical monster.
He'd be a horrifying, terrible nightmare to deal with.
Right.
He was a cool idea.
He was a cool idea. Like some of those, the Masters Universe ideas were just so out there. And that made them cool. And some of them were so out there they were dumb. But you know who I have a lot of cool figures of and is a great cyborg? I have the NECA, 1/4 size, 16-inch, and it's one of my prize toys, is RoboCop.
Oh, yes. Yes, if we're going into cyborgs. And it always goes back to my...
We're going into cyborg. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
It always goes back to my maybe I shouldn't have nitpicky questions on like what defines cyborg, because RoboCop is another one where it's really just the brain, except for the stupid remake where they kept the hand.
Right, because in the original
sense at all.
I think that was the throwback. Like that was an homage to the original when they said, when you saw from his point of view when he was in a chair or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, we managed to keep the arm," and he said, "I said total prosthesis, get rid of it." Like I think that was supposed to be a throwback, but
maybe
poorly executed. Poorly executed.
Yeah, if only they had that. At some point, they need to lose that hand. So he's another case of it's the brain. Well, they stretch the face for that creepy, like uncanny valley kind of look, but mostly a brain in a tube. Kept alive by all these machine parts
and baby food.
Yes, and baby food.
It tastes like baby food. Knock yourself out.
But yeah, he's a great example of a cyborg character who looks really cool. And the original toy line, I remember being a lot of fun. I didn't. So the one I saw it, I didn't collect it.
Yeah, that Kenner line was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, Kenner line was really good. I love that they were still.
The caps.
Yes.
The fact that you put the caps in the back and you pull the little trigger and it goes pack, pack, pack. Man, as soon as I talk about them, I smell the sulfur of those.
You can get the little wisp of it.
Oh, man. I love that smell.
I remember wondering.
I was such a drug addict when I'd like shoot a cap gun and be like, bang, bang, you're dead.
You know what? Not your fault. We were taught as children to inhale things that we probably shouldn't have been inhaling.
Right,
markers, scratch and sniff Snickers, the whole nine.
Peppermint scented gum. Peppermint scented glue. Why, if you didn't want me to eat paste, why would you make it smell like peppermint?
Don't give kids things that smell.
How about we had candy cigarettes?
100%.
And a cigar. The big grape gum cigar.
Yep, I heard the cigars. And then you had did you ever have the advanced candy cigarettes where it had a little hole poked through with powder so you could with the little red dots, so it looked like you were taking a drag? Man. Good times. Don't smoke, kids. Don't do it.
Not good.
Eat a lot of candy. Don't eat a lot of candy. You'll get diabetes.
That whole figure line had the caps on the back, and that was awesome. I loved that. That's like one of my favorite play features.
I remember wondering.
Because of the scent.
I remember wondering at the time whether or not the Ed 209 was. I'm sorry, not Ed 209. Was it 209?
Yeah, 209.
If Ed 209 was also a cyborg because of the stair scene when he falls down the stairs and immediately starts flailing and making those really disturbing pig squeals, and I was like,
why would they program him that way?
Well, that was why I started to wonder about it, because I was like, okay, if these are very basic machines, they do very basic things, they're not good at obeying commands. Are those pig brains in there? And then when under distress, did it just start squealing and flailing? But then maybe not, because it would also have needed to have like a lion brain in there, because it would also need the growls.
They were probably just like uploaded sound effects. Yeah. But what about Kane? Kane wasn't well, his brain was in there.
Was. Right? Yeah, because it had his full brain stem, no face, he had just the eyes.
The Max Headroom face thing.
Yeah, so when RoboCop beats him and he pulls the tube out, it's the brain plus the eyes. They kept the eyeballs, which was purely for shock value. But I was like, why does he still have his eyes? He can't see.
Because he didn't have eyes, like he had a screen.
Yeah, there's no visual stimulation for the eyeball. So why did you go through the effort of keeping them? You would just need the brainstem. But who are we to question 80s, late 80s, early 90s sci-fi mentality? He was a cool-looking robot. What a great design. I wish NECA had gotten around to doing a full-sized one that was to scale with the RoboCop line.
So it's just the 4-inch line.
Yeah. Which is too bad, because he was a really cool-looking robot, that cyborg something.
Whatever he was. I will say the new movie, the newer that wasn't in the RoboCop original series, the one with the black RoboCop, the figures were cool. I'll give you, like, the 6-inch figure was pretty cool. The 4-inch line, they did the silver and the black. They did the silver and the black and the 6-inch. So when I saw the movie, I was like, this is awful. But when I saw the toys, I was like, I'll buy that for $1. And I did. And I totally picked them up. And I thought the figures were pretty cool, though.
And those were made by NECA, right? Or was it a different toy line?
No. It was a different toy line.
Or a different company.
When the movie came out, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if NECA's going to pick that up, though. That would be interesting to see.
I don't know if they will. I don't know if there's enough of a fan base for that. Definitely for the original. But speaking of NECA, I want to jump to a line they have abandoned, the Gargoyles line, because Cold Stone was shown, was promised, was sculpted, and then nothing. We got nothing. And I love Cold Stone as a character and a concept, and their sculpt looked phenomenal. Like, I give them all the credit in the world. Their Gargoyles line looks amazing. It had its flaws. The wings were weird. Some of the joints were not the best, but the decision to go with realistic, weird 0% body fat instead of the more animated look was an odd decision.
When they asked me to pose for those, I was like, "Well, really?" They're
like, "Look, Dana, we really think that this would sell. This is what the people want. You got to give it to them." And they're like, "We're going to have to fudge a lot for Hudson, because he doesn't have the abs aren't there for him." But
they should have gone.
But they look really good, and that Cold Stone looked so good. It was on the cover of Toy Collector magazine, and I was ready for it. And we didn't get it. But he's such an interesting character, like within the show itself. Because I was wondering, so he doesn't turn to stone, or does he? I have forgotten, because I think pre-cyborg he did. Pre-cyborg he did. And then afterwards, because that in and of itself, like between the magic, interacting with the technology, and the way that the lore works with the gargoyles anyway, he's outside of all of it. So it made sense that he wasn't stable, that the cybernetic parts didn't work correctly the way that they should with him. They had to go in and fix him mentally. Man, I was really hoping once that kind of disappeared, we knew there was never any hope of us getting those later figures from their trip through the Amazon on that raft. We were meeting all the other cool looking gargoyles.
Right. Yeah, that would have been cool. But Cold Stone should have been made. We got a rash of cyborgy kind of characters, when the Terminator. You know what cyborg character they haven't made a good toy of at all is Deathlock.
Oh, he's
Marvel Legends tried. The gun had the little hole in his hand, and that stupid. I hate those rubber tubes that go to the guns. They never work.
Yeah, the original. I remember the original Toy Biz offering of him.
That's the best one.
Almost look. Really, you think that's the best one? Because mine just
Toy Biz Legend, the original Toy Biz line, the 5-inch.
Oh, the original. Okay. I was going to say
that's the best one.
Okay, because the Marvel Legends versions of him is a meat form at best.
So terrible. Too much articulation. Stupid thing. It's horrible.
He goes from upright looking cyborg-ish being to pile of meat. There's no way for him to support his own weight. He just folds up, and it's so sad looking.
The articulated toes don't help at all. Whose idea was that? Horrible.
Not a good look for Deathlock. I don't pay a lot of attention to him. I kind of like when his releases come out. I vaguely am aware of it.
But I know that I just want a good toy.
I think the most recent Marvel Legends version of him, it's not bad. It's okay. It doesn't have like doesn't have the joint issues that the original did.
I want a Diamond Select version.
Oh, Diamond Select with rest in peace, Diamond Select. Yep. Gone too soon. We're never getting that Annihilus. Do you remember the Annihilus they showed off? It's gone. It's over.
And now the prices are going to go up. Like I loved that the Diamond Select figures, which are fantastic, never, with few exceptions, never you could find them all for about $40, $35, $40. It's never changed. I am a big fan of that line.
Yeah, it is. They are really cool, and they were always affordable. The detailing on them was always phenomenal, and man, will they be missed?
I think they are
those last
they're sort of the prototype of the Ultimate toy line, like the Super 7's Ultimate line. Like
100%.
I feel without Diamond Select doing what they were doing, we wouldn't have Super 7 Ultimates.
Yeah. So speaking of Super 7, I want to jump into Ninja Turtles. A lot of
some good cyborgs,
going on in Ninja Turtles. Not Metalhead. There is maybe I should have jumped it. Maybe I should have jumped to Super 7 because NECA just recently offered Cyborg Raphael or Cyborg Donatello from the Image series because they're getting into
that
more
was
Image
such
line.
A weird toy line, and they only did 3 turtles. Why didn't they do the 4th turtle?
I don't understand why Jim Lee Leonardo couldn't have had a figure. Oh wait, was it Leonardo or Donatello who didn't get a figure? One of them didn't get a figure, and it made no sense. And I don't understand why, and I don't get.
And I didn't read the Image comic, so I was like, did he die? Is he not in it? I don't know.
You know what? He may have been better off because Image Comics messed up the Turtles. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that like the stories got real intense. And there were a lot of like really intense Mirage stories that they went through, but they got jacked up in the Image series. Leonardo loses his hand right off the bat. Donatello, that's where the Donatello shell getting destroyed.
Shell cracking. That's where
that kind of... it happens all the time now. It was the first time it happened was that, and that was where we got the Cyborg Donatello from. Raphael getting burned by the robot that wound up fusing with Cyborg Donatello, burns half of Raphael's face, and then he has a mental breakdown and winds up becoming the Shredder. So another offering by NECA that looks really cool and really good. But they got messed up in those Image comics.
And those figures were so just out of left field. Like nobody saw them coming. They were big. Like they were really well done, but they were just so like out of nowhere.
It was and I almost want to say it was a step up in quality for Playmates, but it's not really because Playmates has always done a really good job with detailing. It's just their paint jobs may not have shown off what was in there, but they're like the Wildcats and the Image Ninja Turtles and the Savage Dragon line, all very well done. Like all the detailing
very
was
well
great.
done, and they were like, okay, we're going to the 6-inch line. Bam, here you go. And then they threw them all out there. They like just vomited it all out, and then they were done. They were like, nope, we're done.
And even their like original '80s line. Here's a question: is Mutagen Man a cyborg? Because he's got, he's a brain in a tube, but he's got the arms and the legs, which are granted very fleshy and gross looking, but I got to assume those are mechanical. Like, there's got to be some mechanical.
Right, because he wouldn't have the musculature in his ooze body. Like, he's just a big vat of snot. And so it has to be somehow mechanic plugged into his brain, right? Because he doesn't have any muscles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go cyborg with him. Ground Chuck. Really cool. The bull with the
I love his name.
He's so good. He's got the mechanical horn missile. He's got the. I don't know if it's just a helmet piece or if his eye really was damaged and had to be replaced with a bull. That's the joke. The bullseye crosshairs. But the toy for him, I loved that figure. The mechanical leg, which again I'm not quite sure, because in the cartoon when they show up. In the cartoon, Shredder just throws a bunch of armor at them after him and Dirtbag were mutated, and he's like, "Put this on." But I don't know if that was the intention. We all know the cartoon took a lot of liberties. So my assumption was that he was a mutation gone wrong, and they had to kind of fix him up. So he had the mechanical leg and the replaced eye and the mechanical bullhorn.
Yeah.
But I always loved that figure. Like, the original Playmates version is great. I would love for Super 7 to have been able to get around to doing an Ultimates version of him. But Joy Toy killing it with the Ninja Turtles line. The original Ninja Turtles offering is fantastic, and they've just been cranking out more and more great figures. They've done the Triceratons, they did Slash, they did Toka. Now they've done Razar, and they've done Ground Chuck and Dirtbag, and the Ground Chuck looks so good.
It's such a good name. I laugh every time I hear his name.
It's so good. I want him to be huge. He should be a massive, because he is
because that's a 4-inch line, right? The Joy Toy ones. So he should be,
probably about 5.5 inches easily. Yeah, any sort of bull character. I really enjoyed him. I know there's a bunch of other cyborgs, or even the Cyber TMNT line that came out towards the end of the Playmates line was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I don't know if that counts as them as cyborgs. I should probably stop harping on this. I don't know if that counts as them as cyborgs, but they did have they had the shooting fists, and they had the mechanical overlay. So I wasn't sure if it was
some of it's like mech, like people like the Silverhawks. Are they cyborgs? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole cyborg line, because they were all. Yeah, I guess would it have just been their brains and faces, and then most of them replaced with mechanical parts?
Yeah, they certainly be cyborgs, and that was cool. You know who's the baddest cyborg of all? And we didn't talk about him, and he's probably the first cyborg toy that anyone in our toy group would have had. Darth Vader.
That is true. He is definitely the definition of a cyborg character. All the mechanical bits,
right?
A little bit
of
humanity left.
Now that I think about it, I was ready to say what makes him an interesting cyborg is that he still maintained the spirituality of the Force, but then the stupid prequels said it was because of midichlorians, which then also doesn't work because he's a cyborg and he doesn't have the biology to carry the midichlorians. Why hasn't this come up before in my brain? Darth Vader knocks that whole story out. I liked when the Force was spiritual, right? So Darth Vader could still carry even the dark spirit of the dark side of the Force, because his brain and some other things, apparently his lungs are still human. But once they went to midichlorians, it doesn't work anymore for Darth Vader.
I'm not up on Star Wars lore really at all, but I want to say at some point they kind of retconned their own retcon. Like I remember that was introduced, and a huge point of contention, as it should be, because it's silly. Not everything, you don't have to biologically explain everything. Some things can just be what it is. But I think they started to scale back on that. I think now it's more they've kind of gone back more into well, it's the spiritual force thing. And I kind of like that they made the joke in the current movies where one of them was like, "Hey, don't worry, it's the force, right?" And I think someone says that to Han, and Han's like, "That's not how the force works."
Right. Yeah.
But now it's just this kind of like enigmatic, whatever it is, what we need it to be, and that we're just gonna have to settle for that. See, my favorite cyborg, even though I love Darth Vader, and I love that Rogue One is kind of the only movie that got him right.
Man, like that scene in Rogue One, I was on the edge of my seat, like, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. Yeah, so I was like, Darth Vader's finally gonna be Darth Vader.
20 seconds of Vader being like the best Vader that we've ever seen on screen.
Still the best. Still, other than the original three, and even including them, Rogue One may be the best.
Fantastic movie. But you know who my favorite cyborg is in Star Wars? General Grievous.
Yes, I always thought maybe he was the prototype for Vader.
But see, that would make sense because, yeah, like he's in the prequels. It's a lot of the mechanics on him work great, and I loved his introduction in the Clone Wars series. Yeah. So I remember getting the figure when the movies came out. So I was like, aside from the Jawas, Grievous was the only Star Wars figure that I had. And I loved
Jawas. I had a heart. Like the Jawas had a soft place in my heart. I loved the Jawa figure, the original one.
Opening the Jawas were what taught me to be careful when opening things with an X-Acto knife. But always cut away from yourself.
Right,
people.
It was the Jawas.
Just opening the Jawas and almost
I love the Joe Pesci Jawa in New Hope when they buy R5D4 and he blows up, like he blows his whatever capacitor they say, and Uncle Owen goes, "What are you trying to pull here?" And the Jawa goes, "Whack!" It turns into Joe Pesci Jawa.
What are you talking about? I'm out of here.
Houdini.
But I always loved Grievous. I liked that they. How he was imperfect. I didn't think they were going to explain why he wheezed later on. Right. In Clone Wars, you get an explanation for why that happens. But I always thought that was a sign of, like you said, maybe him being a prototype, or technology. They were still working on this new type. Right, of
that's what I was
cyborg,
thinking. Yeah.
So he wasn't 100% yet. But man, visually, he's stunning.
Man. The cape, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, so good.
The toys don't quite capture it.
I've never seen a good Grievous toy. I've never seen a good one.
There was one based on the animated series that's not bad. The Black Series one that they wanted repainting, it's okay. But yeah, it doesn't seem like something that should give them that much trouble
so small
to properly convert into it. Yeah, I think that's part of the other issue. In the movie, he towers over Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and like all the toys to scale, he should be a mega figure. And that would give the engineers more freedom to really work out those, like the issues with the joints, the extra arms, make it so like the arms combine anyway, but once they split, they look silly. And in the movie, that's not the case. So I guess with that, we should probably start buying it. There's still a bunch of other cyborgs to talk about, though. Do you want to make this a two-parter, or do you want to just jump on to the next topic next week?
Oh man, we already promised it would be a next topic.
I'll leave this. I'll leave it up to you. So next week will either be a part 2 or we'll jump into crossovers. Flip a coin. We shall see. So now I guess I want to go into it's question time for the cyborg discussion. Is there a cyborg character that you would like to see have a toy who does not have a toy yet?
Oof. I don't know.
I was telling you, because they're a little far and few between.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what cyborgs don't have them, because most cyborg characters are so cool. Mm-hmm. They get a toy. I mean, I could just go with Turbo Teen. Do you have one?
I'll give my answer. I'll give you some time to come up with the answer for you.
Okay.
So, all right. So, spoiler warning. If you have not watched the DC animated movie Apocalypse War, fast forward about 2 minutes.
All of those cyborg characters are fantastic.
The cybernetic apocalypse corrupted versions of Wonder Woman, Hawk Girl, Martian Manhunter, all those really cool, like because he got, I think Martian Manhunter gets turned into that kind of Naga style. Well, no, it was Mira. Mira gets turned into that really cool sea serpent snake. She has the snake bottom half of her body. She looks super cool. Wonder Woman has all these weird cybernetic attachments to her, and they all look amazing in this movie. And the fight scene with them is really cool, and I love that at the end of the show, when everything is resolved and they stop Apocalypse, but these all those characters still are giant mechanical cyborg monsters, and they figure out Flash has to go back and fix this, but when he does, all of us will cease to be, and all those cyborg people are like, that's fine. Fine.
Right, yeah.
I'm all right.
Cool, man.
Do it.
Or just kill me now. Whatever. Yeah, the end of that movie is so, like, when you see those characters, and Wonder Woman was the least, deformed of all of them.
Yeah.
But even when you see her, you're like, oh my God, man, these guys.
You can't come back from this. You're not living a normal life after this. Hawk Girl's not living a normal life looking the way she does. They can only live with each other, and even then it's just a constant reminder of how they can never reintegrate back into society. But give me some DC Direct versions of those, and that would be awesome. Or you know what, if McFarlane decided he wanted to crank those out with the level of detailing, which you could absolutely do.
Yeah, he would do a good job with those.
Pretty good. I'd be on board for those.
That kind of horror thing he does well with. I'm surprised he did. Wasn't there a movie where Jason was cybernetic?
Yes, Jason X, the Uber Jason, one of the best Friday the 13th ever. Which I think they weren't. Which was also kind of weird. I think for whatever reason they weren't allowed to call it Friday the 13th, which is why the movie is just called Jason X. I don't remember what the background between what issue there was between the studios, and there was a big rights issue for a long time. But they weren't allowed to call it Friday the 13th, so it was just called Jason X, and that was where we got Uber Jason, who I don't know if that was his official name or that's just a fan name given to him, and then they just ran with it because they're not going to stop calling him that, so we'll just do that. But yeah, what a great movie. One of the best. The sleeping bag scene, top of the line. What a great throwback.
Yeah, I remember laughing out loud when I saw the first time when he picked up the sleeping bag and just whacked it against a tree. And I was like, and I just thought that was so funny. And then but the way he looked, like, okay, they're moving.
I have to. I'm required to do this.
Yeah. You know what? And I don't know if he's a cyborg or not, but I really want, there have been figures based on the movie, and there may have been another one, but I really would like to see an original version, new figure of Inspector Gadget.
Oh, 100%. I completely forgot about Inspector Gadget. Yes. Yeah. I would love to see it. I think there is an action figure of him that, who produced it? I don't remember offhand who produced it. There is an action figure of him, not the original toy, because there was a toy line that came out a while ago, and that was where we got to see what Dr. Claw looked like. But there was a more recent release. By recent, I mean a few years ago.
Yeah. You're right. I do remember seeing that. I want him to be like in the same style of the like the cereal characters and the Cheetos, like that kind of.
Yes, 100%. That would be really cool with a swappable head that has that comes with and without the mustache from the original pilot.
Yes,
give me that with and fill it out. Give us Brain. Give us Penny with her way ahead of her time prototype laptop.
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of want Boss Fight Studios to take on the Inspector Gadget.
That would be amazing. My little sister, funny enough, she loved that show, and I remember her she took a binder, like just a random binder that we had around the house, and she like replicated that book that Penny had, and she would play around with it and like add new things based on the episodes. And I was like, why are you doing that? Brilliant. Awesome. She was ahead of her time.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But yeah, Inspector Gadget. Yeah, I would like to see a new updated. Someone new needs to make figures of the original cartoon, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be all about it.
So good answer. So I guess with that, we'll bring this to a close. We may or may not be back with this topic next week. We'll have to see. We'll have to see and find out. Listeners and watchers, thank you for coming back.
I love it.
Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for coming back. We will try to be more consistent with our uploads going forward. We've said this before, but this time we mean it. But if you would like to let us know what your favorite cyborg characters are, get a hold of us on Blue Sky. Our handle is 2guys talking toys. That is the number 2, no G after the talking. Same thing for Instagram, 2G talking toys. If you've enjoyed the episode, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications because the algorithm on YouTube is nobody's friend. And until next time, take care, everybody.